Hello my friends and welcome back. Today I want to discuss composting with you guys. Composting is something I've been doing for over 2 decades. For the past decade, nearly 9 years now that I've been working on this project, I feel like I've really honed in to what works, and I want to share with you guys what I've come up with here. There's 4 different ways that I recommend composting, especially if you live in a residential area. You're going to want to take some of what I'm going to share with you here into serious consideration, because problems can come up from some of the different methods that are being taught out there. But there is a way that you can utilize a very large percentage, close to 100% of what you're producing on site, and using it to create copious amounts of soil, mulch, nutrients for your garden, and turn it into abundance. So right off the bat, I'm going to give you the 4 different ways that I see are the best ways for composting. And if you utilize all 4 of these styles of composting, you're going to be doing everything the most appropriate in my opinion. So number 1, you've got compost piles. Everybody knows about that. Number 2, worm bin composting. Number 3, black soldier fly larva composting. And number 4, weed teas. So let's start off with just compost piles, okay? Everyone knows about compost piles. What you want to be careful with when you're making a compost pile is to not put food scraps of any sort in your piles, as that's going to most likely attract rodents to your pile. Instead, when making a compost pile, what I recommend doing is sticking to mostly browns, so leaves, grass clippings, some of the branches and other plants that you take out of your garden. You can make several piles throughout your garden and allow those materials to break down. If you want to, you can turn them every once in a while and help them to break down quicker. But one thing I'd warn you against is throwing your weeds, plants that you're pulling out of your garden into your compost pile that may have viable weed seed. For that, I recommend doing weed teas. That's just where you're taking a bunch of these weeds, you're putting it in a barrel or a bucket, you're soaking it with water, and usually in about a week's time, you have a nice pungent tea full of all the soluble nutrients that were taken from the plants. And the plants at that point are pretty much broken down, almost like a sludge, and you can set aside all of that material that's left and allow it to just kind of cook in the sun, and you won't have any viable seeds after that. You will have extracted all the nutrients from those weeds. Now, a worm bin is great for everything that's plant-based coming out of your kitchen, and for like us, that's pretty much everything. We don't have any other materials that we're wasting or having in abundance that you might want to throw into a black soldier fly larva bin. But with a worm bin, you can put your banana peels, your carrot tops, your different peelings of your fruits and vegetables, and the worms are going to take care of that and turn it into black gold for you, and you're going to have yourself copious amounts of worm castings. A black soldier fly larva bin, you can literally throw just about anything in there. A black soldier fly larva bin, if you're creating lots of different wastes, if you're eating different animal products and such, and you've got lots of different waste being created from that, you might want to consider a black soldier fly larva bin. I used to do a lot of that style of farming, because not only are the black soldier fly great at composting down these materials, but my fish and my chickens benefit from the larvae. They absolutely love them. They're high in protein. People actually create bins and feed specific items to these black soldier flies larvae so that they can actually eat it for human consumption, because they are, like I said, very high in protein and easy to create. I no longer am doing black soldier fly larvae at this time. It does require, in most climate zones, unless you're in a tropical, subtropical area, that you reset the bin every year, and usually you're going to have to make some sort of a purchase unless you're really dialed in to get yourself some more larvae. But what does happen here, because I have had black soldier fly larvae throughout my garden many times, is they'll show up in my worm bin. Last year I had a nice little nest of black soldier fly coexisting with the red worms, and it was great because if there was anything that the worms wouldn't eat, the black soldier fly were taking care of it. So I was able to throw more different items into my bin. The black soldier fly itself is part of the life cycle. It's a large fly, very docile. It doesn't want to bother you. It doesn't want to be around humans. It doesn't want to come in your house. So it's nothing to be afraid of. But I just thought I'd mention these systems to you. This would be a 4-stage setup that can make you completely self-sufficient and utilize all your compost, avoid having pests come into your yard, avoid having weed seeds being distributed through your yard, and just doing it the right way. So 4 steps right there. Now, as a couple bonus alternatives, I want to talk about other ways I compost, which is chop and drop. Literally taking your plant materials, chopping it, dropping it on the ground, So you can see here, and I literally grow specific plants just for that purpose. Things like the comfrey, my cardoon plants, my artichoke plants also double as compost makers. So chopping and dropping is a wonderful way. Another way is to actually dig holes and bury your compost. One of my favorite things to dig holes and bury would be watermelon rinds. We eat a ton of watermelons throughout the summer, and there's just not enough space in our worm bin. We could and we should expand our worm composting system, but we're doing basically the same thing when we dig a hole and we bury these food scraps as well. So that would be another option for you guys. So altogether there's 6 ideas, but a 4-part system is going to make you nearly completely self-sufficient when it comes to composting. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope if you're not already that you get to composting and utilize these valuable nutrients in your garden. Create yourself an abundance of food and production. Like here we've got the feijoa. The petals of this plant are edible. Delicious. It's like a flower candy. So with that, I want to wish you all a great rest of your day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.